All right, so technically it's day 10 since the hot frog has been fed. It's been it's been 4 days since my original bin has been filled. So if I can get Molly to move, I want to show you guys kind of where everything is at, and also just a quick note about the light. It's been pretty much 2 weeks since the hot frog has been set up. I haven't had a single leak, hi Wally, or escapee worm. I think it's just because it's built smartly in the sense that there isn't any way for them to easily escape. So I am gonna do away with my light. I only used it a few nights, and it really, to be honest, probably wasn't really necessary. But just for context, my somewhat established bin here is looking a little dry. I think it's because I put a little too much cardboard in. But 4 days ago, I had fed it just some frozen banana peels and zucchini ends. And then, let's see, 9 days ago was the last time it had a full feeding. So just because this is established, I want to show you guys for comparison purposes. Molly, it's 100 degrees here in Florida, but don't worry, I have a foot warmer. All right, so let's see. This is where the zucchini and the banana peels were. See a little bit of banana peel. That's about it. Let's see over on this side if that roll is still intact from. So today's the 14th of July. This was fed, this frozen piece, on the 5th of July. And it looks like it's still here. I mean, we got plenty of people eating it, but it's not exactly demolished either. So there's plenty of activity. Oh yeah, there's everybody. All right. Well, I want to make sure they have options because I think that's partially why I'm not seeing as much expansion as I would like. So even though there is technically a partial banana peel over here, I am going to go ahead and feed them another frozen toilet paper roll. I'm going to bury it like I normally do. I'm going to take this one because it's mostly banana based. Some leafy greens in there. And then like normal, I'm just going to cover it up so we know. I did add just a little water to that for good measure because I think it was getting a little dry. This paper bag is just a bag that I stored full of recycled paper that either came from packaging or whatnot that I intend to use because I saw those bugs last time in here and I was a little worried because there's only a few. But I noticed how moist or damp or whatever we want to call it this top layer, which isn't being used, was, and I was a little worried that it's gonna, I don't know, something not good. So I put an extra, I don't know, crumple of paper, packaging paper from packing that came from, Amazon boxes or whatever, and just put it on top. It's definitely damp, but it's not as soaked, which makes me feel a little better since I think it's going to be a while before they migrate up here. So I don't want it to be just drenched all the time. All right, it's been 10 days since this was originally fed. You can see, oh, we got some activity over here. You know what you guys are hanging out doing. Let's see. Okay, so there was essentially 3 rolls. So it looks like, okay, this roll's pretty much gone. This roll is pretty much gone. All right, so everybody's pretty just looking for food. We got essentially just the top of that roll left. Okay. And I don't know what this was. Oh, it looks like a pepper. All right, so it's definitely time to feed them again. So it looks like 10 days might have been probably a little too long before feeding them again. I don't know, I don't know, I could rationalize it either way. So I have two fully frozen rolls. This one I put in here earlier. It's not completely frozen, but I'm probably gonna stick it in anyways. And a banana peel that's rolled up. These are mostly bananas anyways. This is a lot of Brussels sprouts. There's some eggshells. So honestly, I think I'm just gonna put this whole thing in, all of this. And I think this time I'm gonna just try and bury all of it and see how they do. And then, yeah, I think I'm gonna bury it all. And then I'll probably check back in let's say 8 days maybe, because they are technically more established now. Okay, so we got the 3 rolls plus a frozen rolled up banana peel, some eggshells, random, like 1 eggshell in all of this, so not a whole lot, but I just kind of crushed, put in there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and actually, while we're here, I don't know, I'm not feeling like this is super that wrung out sponge feeling that they've been talking about. So I think, ooh, yeah, we move this one over here for them. Just trying to cover all of this as much as possible. So now there's, I don't know if you could tell, but now there's an obvious side which one's higher. So I think if you're new to vermicomposting, I learned this early on. It's helpful to rotate sides of which you feed them on. If I didn't mention this earlier, so that way you kind of know how quickly they're eating. So I'm gonna just keep doing that in the future. So if you're wondering why I didn't put more food on this left side, that's why. Just kind of feeling this. I don't know. I think I'm going to add just the teensiest amount of water to the layer above it, and I'll let that just naturally drip down in here. But I don't want to put too much liquid directly in here because I know that's bad for them. So based on what we learned on just the first week or two of having the hot frog, I think it's safe to say for the foreseeable future, if their first week when they're not 100% active, they're still kind of getting used to the situation, there's just the initial 1,000 red wigglers in there. If I gave them 3 rolls of toilet paper and it took them 10 days to completely demolish it, ideally, I'm thinking moving forward, I'll probably feed them 3 rolls of toilet paper every week. And I say 3 rolls of toilet paper, but 3 rolls of toilet paper, you know, frozen, stuffed with whatever that might be, or at least whatever that's equivalent to. I think because you don't want them to completely run out of food. Like, I think where they were just a few minutes ago was probably not enough food, and I want them to constantly feel like they have food so they can reproduce and we can expand. Because I think that's something that I really didn't do well with here. So I'm hoping to prevent that here. So I want them to have a constant supply of fresh food. So moving forward, I'm going to probably plan on a 1-week timer essentially for this to refill and refeed. But I think just for comparison purposes, you know, I think the instruction manual says something about like a 1/4 pound of food or something like that. Yeah, let's see what it said. I don't remember. It's in here somewhere, but it says something like, or maybe it's on the website, something about like a 1/4 pound of food per pound of worm or something that they can eat. I don't know how much a 1/4 pound of mixed food is in banana peels and stuff like that. So for me, the toilet paper method is easy. It's easy to handle. You can control the portion size. It fits in my Tupperware container easily enough in the freezer. And I think anybody watching this knows how much a toilet paper roll is, can get a toilet paper roll because we're all, you know, being quarantined or whatever right now. And I think it's going to make it easier and more measurable for you to keep track of how much your worms are actively eating. So if you're new like me and you're trying to get a baseline, I highly recommend you try the toilet paper method. And you know, if you're going through a lot of paper towels or something, you know, I think it's very reasonable to get a paper towel roll if you wanted to do that. How you freeze that, I don't know, maybe a Ziploc baggie or something, but you could just as easily do that. Just something that's easy to measure, unless you want to weigh all of your food, and I don't know, it seems like a lot of unnecessary work. I hope you guys have enjoyed this long but thoroughly tested, I think, method of how much to feed your Hot Frog Living Composter the first few weeks, and at least getting started. Hopefully, as the worm population develops, I can up that food level. I think if anybody's curious or wants to learn more, I have already started some preliminary plans on how to save the food for bigger feedings beyond toilet paper rolls. So I'll be planning a video for that soon. But obviously I need to wait for them to populate enough, so it might be a little bit, but it'll definitely be something I share in the future. I'm new to this, but I'm happy to help troubleshoot any questions down below. If you want to learn more, I'm happy to help. And also Uncle Jim's Worm Farm, where I got this and this little initial setup from them, has a wealth of information. I highly recommend checking them out. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe for more worm updates.